anybody? Awesome. Okay, so my name is Adriana. Hello. I can't see you guys today, so I can't tell if there's newcomers. I assume so. Oh, yes. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Hi. So I'm Adriana. I'm actually Martha's daughter, if you have met her. And a little bit about me. I'm in recovery as well. So doing this with you guys is a way for me to give back and yeah, share something that I think has really helped me. Over the years, not feeling my feelings, I really stored a lot of stuff in my body. And yoga is just a way to get me moving, get me out of the head, get me out of my head, and reconnected with myself. So I hope it does something awesome for you as well. My pleasure. So today we'll start, as we always start, with some breathing. We can just begin closing our eyes and noticing our breath. Coming back into ourselves, tuning out of the outside world and tuning in with ourselves. And just notice where your natural breath goes, into your belly, into your chest. Are your breaths shallow? Are they deep? How are you feeling? Are you calm, centered? Are you a little anxious? Just notice these things. We'll start adding a deeper quality to the breath by incorporating the Ujjayi breath, which is also known as the breath of fire. And that you can start doing the Ujjayi breath by constricting your throat. And it's kind of like that Darth Vader sound. We can all practice that together quickly. So it's a quite audible breath, and at first you might feel some phlegm in your throat, but I find that all passes. If there's a tickle in your throat, it goes away once you become a little more accustomed to it. And while we're doing the Ujjayi breath, I want you to bring your breath down into your belly. Really deep belly breaths. And when you're emptying your breath, bring your belly towards your spine, really emptying all of your lungs. Your inhale is only as big as your exhale. So this is a very active breathing. And breathing in this way is physically one of the ways that you can bring yourself back to your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest state of the body. Again, I can only speak for myself in this, but I had been I've been controlled by my feelings. So I was often in the sympathetic state of the body, the fight or flight mode. And it was just exhausting, you know? It's a very exhausting state for your body to be. You feel tired all the time. You start to feel aches and pains from holding so much tension. So deep belly breaths is a way to counter that. So we'll begin now for a couple of minutes of Ujjayi breath at your own pace, breathing into your belly. Go ahead. You can keep doing the Ujjayi while I'm talking. The Ujjayi is through the nose. And while you're breathing this way, just notice if you're holding tension in your shoulders and try to release that. Notice if you're starting to clench in your legs and your hips, and release that as you exhale, release the tension. Inhale into the belly. See if you can feel your energy moving around as you breathe in this way. Starting down from your seats bones as you breathe in. You can feel your energy rising to the top of your head, and as you breathe out, feeling your energy lower back again like a circle. You can open your eyes. The next breath that I'd like to introduce you guys to is it's called 3-part breathing. So we'll take a deep breath into our bellies, deep breath into our chest, deep breath into our shoulders, and then release it all. So let's do that all together. Deep breath into the belly. Deep breath into the chest, deep breath into the shoulders, and release it all. We'll do that again. Deep breath into the belly, deep breath into the chest, deep breath into the shoulders, and release it. So for today's yoga practice, we're going to be focusing on the chest, opening our chest through various positions. And the philosophical focus is forgiving into love. And I got that from a forgiveness meditation that I did earlier this week. And in that meditation, the man said, beyond forgiveness is understanding and love. And I really like the idea that I could get to a place where I'm no longer forming resentments because I'm just in a place of understanding and love. Understanding of the humans that we all are, that we make mistakes. So today we'll be opening our chest physically, opening our hearts physically, and I want you to mentally set that intention of forgiving and opening yourself to the love that you deserve. And as you fill yourself with love, it inevitably flows out into the world around you. So we'll start today on our backs. And you can bring your knees into your chest, tucking your shoulders under a little. And start little circles with your knees, giving your low back a nice massage. And don't forget to stay in tune with that breath. Yoga is all about combining our movements with our breath. And when we move in unison with our breath, our thoughts start to melt away and we're able to really reach this blissful state. So we'll create a T with our arms. Breathe in. And as we breathe out, we'll drop our knees to one side for a nice spinal stretch. We'll breathe in, bringing our knees back to the middle. And as we breathe out, we'll drop them to the other side. And you can follow this pattern a couple times. times. Breathing in, letting your knees drop as you breathe out. Going at your own pace, following your own breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. And next time you're back to a neutral position, you can bring yourself back up into a seated position and roll through to tabletop. So in tabletop, you want your wrists to be under your shoulders, your knees to be under your hips, and your toes pointed. And we'll start off with some cat-cows. Breathing in, we tilt our pelvis, shoulders away from our ears, and we begin to look at the top part of the wall or at the ceiling. And as we breathe out, we arch our backs, bringing our shoulder blades to the ceiling, chins to our chest, and tucking our tailbones. Breathing in, tilting our pelvis, bringing our bellies to the earth, looking up at the top part of the wall, shoulders away from our ears. And breathing out, arching our backs, bringing our shoulders up to the ceiling. And you can follow this pattern at your own pace with your own breath a couple of times. And really approach it from a place of forgiveness and love. There's no rigidity in yoga. There's no point in straining ourselves. We want to create a sustainable stretch. We'll come back to a neutral position. Firmly planting that left arm, we'll breathe in, lifting our right arm to the sky. And as we breathe out, we'll bring our right hand underneath our left armpit and lower our right shoulder to the ground, our right ear to the ground, really pressing our bodies against that right shoulder. The left arm will go up into the left side of the mat, the left corner. And just breathe as you put your weight into that shoulder, stretching your arm, stretching your right shoulder. And we'll breathe in, pushing ourselves up, planting our right arm as we breathe out, and breathe in, lifting the left arm up. And breathe out, bringing your left hand under your right armpit, lowering your left shoulder to the ground. Putting your body weight into that left shoulder. Your right arm will come up towards the right corner of the mat. And breathe. Feeling a nice stretch in your left arm, your left shoulder. Breathing into your belly. And as we breathe in next, we lift ourselves up. Walking our arms out slightly. Falling into our hips, into an upward dog. In upward dog, your feet are off the ground. You're balancing on the tops of your feet. Your shoulders are away from your ears. So you're lifting your body up. You'll feel a nice stretch in your low back. Nice opening for your chest. And you can kind of sway right and left and feel that deep stretch in the low back. And we'll release Bringing our hips back towards our heels, opening our knees as wide as the mat for wide-legged child's pose. And bringing our foreheads to the earth. And breathing. You can roll your forehead left and right for a nice massage. From the next in-breath, we'll lift ourselves up, tucking our toes under, and as we breathe out, lifting our hips up into downward dog. Pedal out your legs slowly for the first downward dog of the day. And the aim is to have a straight back, even if that means you need to bend your legs. So bend your legs as much as you need to for that straight back. And we'll slowly walk our feet towards our hands at the top of the mat. Forward fold, grabbing our elbows here, shaking our heads one way, shaking them loose the other. What a great release for your spine. And as we breathe in, we'll lift ourselves slowly, really paying attention to our back and how it feels to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Breathe in, lifting your arms up over your head, hands together, and breathe out, bringing them in front of your chest. Wonderful. So I just want you to notice how your feet are firmly planted into the ground. Maybe lift your toes off the ground a couple times. Bending your knees a couple times. Really just finding a position that feels like all of your toes are in there, your heels in there, the edge of your foot is in there. And we'll breathe in, sweeping our arms up overhead. Clasping our hands together with our index fingers pointed, and as we breathe out, we'll bring our arms over to the right. Pulling that left arm with that right arm, bringing that left hip out to the left, really stretching the left side of your body. And breathe in, we come up. You'll notice when you're in that position, you start to shake. It's quite a strengthening position for your abdominals. And breathe out as we stretch over to the other side, really pulling at our right arm with our left arm, bringing our hips to the right for a deep side stretch. And we'll breathe in, bringing ourselves back up. Releasing our arms, countering that stretch with a nice hug. And shaking it out, maybe some shoulder movements. Awesome. Standing at the top of the mat, we'll breathe in, sweeping our arms up overhead. Breathe out, folding forward. Breathe in, lifting yourself halfway, shoulders away from the ears, hands on the ground or on your upper thighs. And breathe out, forward fold, planting your palms, bringing your right foot back into a low lunge. Lowering your right knee onto the ground and pointing your toes. Breathe in, lifting yourself up, hands on your thigh or up overhead. Breathe out, planting your palms, bringing your left foot to meet the right foot into a plank pose. Breathe in, looking forward, and breathe out, lowering down onto your chest, onto your belly, pointing your toes. Here, your hands are right by your shoulders. And as we breathe in, we're gonna lift our chest up off the ground. With the strength coming from our backs, our hands should be able to come off the ground easily. Breathe in, breathe out, lowering, bringing our foreheads to the earth. Breathe in, lifting up into a tabletop position, tucking our toes. Breathe out, lifting our hips up into downward dog. Firmly planting that left foot. We breathe in, lifting our right foot up. Breathe out, bringing your knee to your chest and planting your right foot. No worries, no worries. So we're doing a lunge on the other side. Right foot forward, left foot back. Left knee on the ground, pointing your toes. Breathe in, hands onto your thigh or up over your head. Breathe out, planting your palms, bringing your left foot up to meet your right foot, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, lifting all the way up, hands up over your head. Breathe out, bringing your hands together in front of your chest. Breathing here, noticing if your blood is pumping, if you feel your energy moving around. And that's one round of sun salutation. We'll do the same thing on the other side, leading with your left leg. So breathe in, sweeping our arms up overhead. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, lifting halfway, hands on the ground or on your legs. Shoulders away from the ears. Breathe out, planting your palms, bringing your left foot back for a high lunge this time. Breathe in, lifting yourself up, hands on your thigh or up over your head. Breathe out, planting your palms, bringing your left foot back to meet your right foot, plank pose. Breathe in, looking forward, breathe out, lowering. And this time we're gonna push through and up into an upward dog. Breathe in. And breathe out to tabletop or straight into your downward dog. Planting that right foot, breathe in, lifting your left leg up. Breathe out, knee to chest, planting that left foot for a high lunge on the other side. Breathe in, lifting your palms to your thigh or up over your head. And breathe out, planting your palms by your left foot, stepping your right foot up to meet your left foot, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift, back parallel to the earth. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, lifting yourself all the way up. Hands together, up over your head, and breathe out. Bringing your hands in front of your chest. And close your eyes and just breathe a couple times. Noticing how you feel. Noticing the shifting going on in your body with your energy. Next, we're gonna separate our feet about 6 inches and practice some balancing on our toes. Bringing our arms out in front of us, we'll come up onto our tippy toes. And staring at a place across the room really helps with your balance. We'll begin bending our knees. Breathing slowly, maybe coming all the way down onto our heels. Woo! Coming back into position when you need to, if you fall out. And breathe in, we lift ourselves back up. All the way up, 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 up. Before releasing. Well done. Am I getting a little cut off? I think I am. Let me move it back a bit. There we go. Okay, facing the front of our mat. We'll step back with our right foot, setting up for warrior one. And in warrior one, your legs are on two separate lines. They're hip width apart. And your back foot is at a 45-degree angle to your right foot. Your left foot is bending and your hips are parallel to the front of the mat. And that's where you really get that deep stretch from your back leg. So your hips are parallel to the front of the mat. So not like this, but like this. And we'll breathe in, sweeping our arms up and over. And really imagine digging all four corners of your feet into the ground, especially the back edge of that right foot. And we'll sweep our arms around us, clasping our hands together, preparing for humble warrior. Breathe in, lifting our chests. And as we breathe out, we'll bring our head down beside our left leg, our left foot, bringing our head to the earth. So go very slowly, only as far as is comfortable for you, taking your time and breathing. Letting your arms fall behind you, really opening your chest. And we'll breathe in to come up. Firmly planting your feet, taking your time as you come up. And releasing your arms, countering with a nice hug. And we'll open up into warrior two, widening our stance and creating a capital T with our front left foot and our back right foot. Our hips are now parallel with the wide side of the mat, the length of the mat. And we're bending into that front left foot. Left knee should be over left ankle. If it's going further over, you can probably open up a little more. Arms are up as high as our shoulders, and we're looking over that left arm. Breathing, firmly planting those feet, especially that back right foot. We'll breathe in, lifting our left arm up. Breathe out, right arm on your back right leg for reverse warrior. Feeling a nice side stretch. Keep that bend in the front leg. And breathe in to come back up. And breathe out, turning your left foot parallel to the mat for a wide-legged pose. You can reposition yourselves a little, maybe bring your stance a little closer together. Hands on your hips, shoulders back, really feeling your feet into the ground, noticing. Rolling our shoulders back and clasping our hands together. And we breathe out as we forward fold with a flat back. As low as we can. Our bottoms will come out behind us. You can bend your knees slightly if you need to, bringing your head to the earth, letting your arms fall behind you, or just coming halfway, really whatever is comfortable for you. Approaching this practice with love and forgiveness, forgiving thoughts of how we move, what our flexibility is. And we breathe in, lifting ourselves back up, using the strength of our legs, and releasing our arms. Setting up for warrior one on the other side with our right leg facing forward. So our right leg is bent, our left leg is back at a 45-degree angle to our right leg. And your legs are hip width apart for this pose, hip width apart. On two separate lines. We don't want them together like this, but a bit apart. We're firmly planting that back left leg and bending into that front one, making our hips parallel to the front of our mat. Breathe in, lifting our arms up overhead. And breathe out, swinging our arms behind us and grabbing our hands in the opposite way with the opposite thumb on top. Breathe in, lifting our chests to the ceiling. And breathe out, slowly lowering into that humble warrior on the other side. Heads to the earth or as close as we can. And taking your time. Letting our arms fall back behind us. Giving our chest a nice stretch, our upper backs a nice stretch. Breathing. And as we breathe in, we'll lift ourselves up. Using the strength from that right leg to push ourselves up. And we'll release our arms, countering with a nice hug. And we'll open our arms up in our stance into Warrior Two. Creating a T with the back left foot and the front right foot, capital T. And we're bending into that front right leg, tucking our tailbone slightly. We don't want our booties to pop out. Tucking it slightly. Opening your arms up, as high up as our shoulders, shoulders away from the ears and gazing over that right arm. Firmly planting your feet. We'll breathe in, lifting that right arm up. Bringing our left arm to our left leg and leaning back for reverse warrior. Really working our abdominals here, not collapsing. And we'll come back to that Warrior Two. And bring our right foot parallel to the edge of the mat for another wide-legged pose. We'll bring our heels in slightly and bend our legs for goddess pose. Bend our legs, bend our arms. You are a strong goddess. We want our tails tucked in, not letting our booties get the best of us. Bringing them in. And I love to sway back and forth. I find it really helps me hold this position longer and it's just fun. So we'll stay here for 5, 4, breathing, 3, bouncing a little, 2, 1, and come back up to that wide-legged pose. Whew. And we'll bring our feet closer together, toes pointing out still, and we'll lower down slowly into a nice yogi squat. Using your elbows to open up your knees. If you need to be on your toes, that's totally fine. Like this, that's totally fine. If you can lower down onto your heels, that's excellent too. If you fall, simply get right back into it. I fall all the time. All the time. Yoga is about falling and getting back into position. Which is so relatable to life. Breathing, really rooting down with our feet in our root chakra, our tailbone to the earth, shoulders away from the ears, stretching our neck and our crown chakra up to the ceiling. And from here, we're going to plant our palms for some arm balance, crow pose. So firmly planting your hands, they should be about shoulder width apart. And we're going to bring our feet nice and close Knees up into our armpits, and you can bend your elbows here and almost prop yourself up onto those bent elbows. Your toes should naturally come off the ground. And at that point, maybe you can bend them further. So let's try that again. We'll have our toes nice and close, knees in our armpits, bending our elbows a bit. It should just kind of pick us up off the ground. And maybe one toe, maybe the other. Bing. Great job, and we can release that. We'll come into a kneeling position and just stretch our wrists here, bending them with the tops of our hands down. And the other way, bending back. Awesome. From there, we're gonna lie onto our backs for a nice bridge pose. Bending our feet, heels close to our bottoms. Arms out beside us. You can use the mat to help lift yourself up or press your hands into the earth. And we're gonna lift our hips up off the ground and come up onto our shoulders as we breathe in, lifting. Tucking our shoulders under, we can clasp our hands together under our bodies, really lifting. Make sure those legs don't fall to the left and the right. We want to keep our knees in, like we have a block in between them. Excellent. 3, 2, 1, and lowering. We'll do that again, unless full wheel is in your ability, where we'll be pressing our hands right by our ears up into that full wheel. But if not, just stay down with the bridge. And we'll do that again, pressing up, hips up into the air, shoulders tucked under, clasping your hands together, opening your chins, opening your throat, or pushing up into the full wheel for 5. Breathing 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly, carefully lower yourself down. Wonderful. We can create a T with our arms and stretch out our abdominals, bringing our left leg up over our right leg, our hips to the left side of the mat, and our knees fall to the right side of the mat for a deeper stretch than the first one. You can look to the left and breathe into your belly. And we'll release, doing the same stretch on the other side, bringing our right leg up over our left, our hips to the right side of the mat, and our knees fall to the left side of the mat. Looking to the right, and try to keep both shoulders against the ground. Breathing into that belly. And we breathe in, releasing our right leg. And lifting ourselves up into a seated position, legs out in front of us, staff pose. Feel around for the most comfortable position, sitting up into your seat's bones. You can bend your legs here as much as you need to. We'll breathe in, lifting our arms up. And as we breathe out, we'll fold forward. Again, bend your knees as much as you need to, resting your head against your legs. As you breathe, you might want to stretch out your legs more, clasping your hands together. Really releasing tension wherever you can, going deeper into the pose. And using the breath to work through these stretches. We'll breathe in, lifting ourselves up. We're going to turn ourselves facing a wide, pouring over mat, opening our legs to a wide-legged pose. Awesome. However wide is comfortable for you. I always found this to be such a challenging position for myself, even after 10 years of yoga. So we'll bring our left leg into our right. Bring our right arm to our left thigh. Breathe in, lifting our left arm up and folding over. Maybe touching our toes or waving at them. Letting gravity do the work here. All you have to do is breathe. And we breathe in, lifting ourselves up. Opening our left leg up, bringing our right leg in. Left leg to our right thigh. Breathe in, lifting your right arm up. Left arm to your right thigh. And reaching over to your toes. Letting gravity do the work, either waving to them or grabbing them. Really focusing on your breath. And we come back up. Opening both our legs up again. Breathe in, and we'll slowly walk our hands out in front of us for a nice forward fold that serves our bodies today. However deep that is for you is fine. Maybe you rest on your forearms. Maybe you stack both your hands together, both your fists, and rest your forehead on that. Maybe you bend your knees, whatever works for you. Be forgiving with yourselves. If you haven't done yoga before, if you don't normally stretch, we can only work with the bodies that we have today. We breathe in, lifting ourselves up. Bringing our right leg or your left leg to meet your right leg, setting up for our final resting pose, lying onto our backs. Shavasana. So we'll open up our legs and open up our arms as wide as the mat. Tuck your shoulders under your back just slightly. And get comfortable, smiling after all that effort you put in. Allowing your body to rest after all that strengthening and stretching. We'll be here for a couple minutes, so just sink into the floor. And breathe, returning to your natural breath. if your mind starts to wander, as it does, just come back to this place, to your breath. Reassure yourself that you are exactly where you need to be, that the time spent working on yourself is absolutely important and will only allow you to show up for the rest of your day with more presence, awareness. And you can begin wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. Bring your knees one by one into your chest. Roll over to a side, left or right, into a fetal position. Slowly, lovingly push yourself up off the mat, back where we started in our cross-legged position. We can bring our hands up to the middle of our forehead, our third eye. Namaste. And Namaste is simply the highest version of me, acknowledging the highest version of you. And I've given far too much attention to my lower version, so I'm happy to be here today. Thank you. Did you guys like that? Was that too difficult?